From the courts, the two people convicted of the death of businessman Kurt McCartney learning their fate today.
Well, Fern Carey tells us that one of the convicts faced the death penalty while the other faced life in prison for the murder prosecutors described as the worst of the worst and the rarest of the rare.
26-year-old Thorne Edwards was spared the death penalty Tuesday when Senior Justice Stephen Isaacs sentenced him to 45 years behind bars for killing businessman Kurt McCartney back in October of 2013. Justice Isaacs also gave the father of one 20 years in prison for robbing McCartney at gunpoint. Lead prosecutor Roger Thompson had asked the court to sentence Edwards to death, contending that the murder is the worst of the worst and the rarest of the rare. He also reminded the court that McCartney suffered and did not die immediately. He noted that McCartney was shot in the head and his assailants ran over him with his own Hummer vehicle, resulting in almost every bone in his body being broken. Describing Edwards as a killer without a cause, the prosecutor argued that he could not be reformed. He also suggested that Edwards get life in prison for the armed robbery. However, Senior Justice Stephen Isaacs disagreed, noting that prosecutors did not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the murder is the worst of the worst or that Edwards cannot be reformed. However, the senior justice agreed that the murder was senseless and callous. Regarding 22-year-old mother of one, Lindira Curry, Justice Isaacs gave her 7 years behind bars for manslaughter and 5 years in prison for armed robbery. She was facing life in prison on those convictions. He noted that Curry does not have any prior convictions, suffers from a minor adjustment disorder, and did not breach any prison rules. The senior justice also said that Curry was just 19 when the crime was committed, and there is no evidence that she intended to kill McCartney. Referencing the argument of Edwards' attorney, Jeffrey Farquharson, Justice Isaacs said evidence in the case did not disclose a motive for the murder. He noted that the taking of the vehicle appears to have been done out of panic in a bid to escape detection, as McCartney's Hummer was abandoned a short distance from the crime scene. The defense lawyer spoke to reporters outside court.
And the court gave Mr. Edwards 45 years. On the surface, that does not appear to be proportionate, and we will ask the Court of Appeal to review that.
Considering the offense, considering that, this is a life that has been lost, I think it's a very fair sentence.
Fern Carey, CNS Network News.